Good evening. Let's call the April 3rd meeting of the Community Wellness Committee to order. So a roll call. So I'm here.
I'm
Murphy.
Yep.
All right. And Councilmember Lapari Shu is not here today. Any concerns about the minute? Any corrections that need to be noted or otherwise?
No, I think they look good.
All right. So we'll approve those. So the first topic was not something we discussed at our last meeting in early March. And I think you all, have been in Oneonta, you've probably been hearing about what's been going on with Fox Fitness. And was approached and kind of asked if there would be interest in having this group hear from folks that have a real strong interest in not having Fox Fitness close. And so I certainly felt that it was appropriate, given that this particular committee deals with community wellness and would talk about a facility that's dedicated to wellness. It seemed appropriate to be able to have a discussion about that. One of the representatives that was initially going to speak here tonight could not. So Lee and I were talking over the phone, and I encouraged him to come here today and talk about some of those concerns. So without much further ado, Lee, I'll turn it over to you if you're comfortable with that, and you can tell us a little bit more about what's going on and go from there.
Okay, my name is Lee Sperling. I live at 3 Crestmont Terrace in Ward 2, City of Oneonta. And I'm one of many concerned members of Fox Fitness. I've been a member there for 24 years. And I think what needs to really be said is that this is not a typical gym. And what I mean by that is that we have a population that 72% are 50 years plus, 66% are 55 years plus, and then another 33% is 70 years plus. And then under 40 is about 19%. And the issue that's affecting the members is there is no alternative for them if Fox Fitness closed. Now, Bassett's original announcement said that there were alternatives, but the places that they listed are really not. First of all, Muscles in Motion that has probably about 60 steps, which many members cannot get up to. And then Table Rocks is, from what we understand, is pretty much overcrowded, a younger crowd. And the real issue is that with an older population, and many members have some physical disability, and the fact that they're able to readily go, there's no steps, ample parking, plus they have a supportive staff there. And then the most important thing is that these people feel safe and secure there, which has been really a number of people voicing that concern. I've been running a petition there for the last 3 weeks, and we have about 767 signatures, which if the committee would want a copy of that, that would help in furthering this resolution that we would hope you would pass. I can definitely provide it.
Yeah, Lee, how many signatures did you
I have
say?
767. There are other petitions out in the community that have not come back yet. So that would probably add, I'm assuming, another couple of hundred. But the petition I ran was pretty much in-house at the Fox Fitness Center. And the thing is that the other thing too is that they have a they have a therapy pool, and there's many seniors who have issues that use it. And then I would say that the heartache that I felt by doing this petition is that I've had a lot of seniors older than me come up to me and say, if this place closes, I am going to die. And I'm not trying to be dramatic. I mean, I've had many people say that because this is the one facility where they feel that they can come to and end up feeling better. And also, the other thing is that Bassett has a mission where they're saying they want the best for their patients and the wellness of the community. And if this closes, it's really going to impact the quality of life of many people within the city and the surrounding area. And there's also, again, I mean, with the enrollment is down. Apparently, I'm not going to dispute their figures, but So before COVID, I think at their height, they were about 1,500. Now we're down to about 750, and actually in the last 2 weeks, even with the publicity that it's going to close in 2 months, they ended up getting 40 new members. So I think it's one of the largest facilities within the town city, if not the county. So it really would have an impact on quality of life for many people. And I'll answer any questions you have if,
Any questions for Woody?
Why are they saying they're closing it?
from what we understand, correct me if I'm wrong too, is that they want to expand physical therapy and their cardio rehab more into the gym. Except from talking to the people in those two departments, they're saying right now they don't even have the staff to implement an expansion. And the other thing too is that even if our enrollment is down and cardio and PT wanted to come in, the reality is that right now it's a shared facility, and I'm sure that if they're feeling there's a opening with the decrease in enrollment that they can fill, they still can have both the cardio, PT, and then still have the gym, or the fitness center, rather, I want to correct myself, the fitness center.
Another thing I see, and I've read a number of the letters that have been out there, and I don't know if this was specifically addressed in any of them, it may have been, is that if you're trying, I mean, I agree with everything you said, but also if you're trying to recruit healthcare providers to this community, you're losing a big draw in that regard, or any other person that wants to come here to live. I mean, it's a real asset in the community, and I would think that would be another reason we should push them a little bit. But is it at all reasonable to think they'll shift and not do this?
Well, the thing is that after we had that rally about a week and a half ago, and we had coverage on WKTV, they did not reach out to, let's say, the members and come in and want to have, let's say, a town meeting and then explain their situation and then ask for input. So I can't speak for them. They had their spokesperson just explain pretty much why they want to take over the space, but there has not been any outreach between the members and Bassett.
Lee, do they have a timeline for this closing? I mean,
May 31st.
May 31st? Are there any other questions for Lee?
No, off the top of my head, my gears are turning, but not right now.
So, I don't know if this is the final resolution, but I'll read the resolution to you that I have that's marked as draft, so I assume it's pretty close to a finished product. But this is what we're being asked to review, and then if, to put it forward to Common Council for adoption of this resolution. I was unsure about the role that council plays in that, but have been assured that that is the role that we can play, is certainly to adopt the resolution in support of the Fox Care if we are so inclined. So let me read you the resolution. A resolution in support of keeping the Fox Care Fitness Center open. Whereas the Fox Care Fitness Center, 1 Fox Care Drive, Oneonta, New York, has provided critical fitness and such services as cardio rehab, pulmonary rehab, physical therapy, and physical fitness. Whereas the Fox Care Fitness Center offers a fully accessible venue for area residents and patients, featuring rehabilitation and physical fitness monitored by qualified health care professionals. Whereas the Fox Care Fitness Center professionals and staff members have worked with thousands of community members and patients from the region for over 24 years to improve their physical and mental health. Whereas the closure of Fox Care Fitness Center would detrimentally affect the health and well-being of hundreds of community members and patients. Be it therefore resolved that the City of Oneonta Common Council supports the efforts of the Fox Care Fitness Center and respectfully urges the Bassett Healthcare Network to keep the Fox Care Fitness Center open in its current configuration. Let it be further resolved that the City of Oneonta Common Council urges the Bassett Healthcare Network to join a meeting of stakeholders such as the leadership of Fox Hospital and the board and its board of directors in its discussion to develop a plan to keep the Fox Care Fitness Center open with all the challenges that would entail. And so that's what, again, that is the draft that I have. I'm assuming it is the up-to-date draft that we've been asked to kind of move that forward to council.
I'm wondering if, in light of what Lee presented to us, is there a way we could, would it be impactful, would it be helpful to mention that they've got nearly 800 signatures in support of keeping it open?
If this were moved to council, I think, and I certainly would support moving to council, what I'd like to do is then, Lee, if you've got, you said that you've got the 767, I think you said. And
I can make a copy and submit it to you.
Yeah, I would say don't have to go as far as getting all the signature names, but I'll have to get back to you on that one in terms of whether that would be good. I think just having, if it's a 757 plus whatever other hundreds are out there would be good. What I'd like to do is kind of bring the kind of evidence, at least as the number of people that this is impacting, and some of the rationale and argument. What stands out to me, and when Lee and I talked last week, was the number of folks over 50 years old that this serves.
And that was, what was the 70%?
72%.
Yeah.
So let's say almost 3/4 of the folks that are being served by this particular center are 50 years and older. And then, Lee speaks to what I think there's not only the kind of physical fitness aspect of it, which is obviously very clear, but he speaks to a sense of community, which can have a mental impact, right, in terms of wellness. So it's not just physical wellness, but the sense of community and sense of belonging someplace and feeling safe and comfortable and everything else also contributes to the kind of sense of mental wellness. And let's not underestimate the value of that. And I think that how you kind of pointed to the person who mentioned to you that kind of without that they would, you said they would die. And
I don't want to be over dramatic about it, but it's been
let's
expressed to me a number of times, which is really, really a heartache when you listen to these people's stories. And
well, let's not underestimate the power of a community in terms of giving us a sense of purpose and a sense of place, and how much that has a positive impact on the mental well-being of people, right? I mean, that can't be separated from this particular argument when we're talking about a physical care kind of place. There's also the mental aspect that I think is pretty strong as well. So anyhow, that was my thinking, is that it would, if we bring it forward, I would certainly, and in the capacity of the Community Wellness Committee report, raise that, and certainly I'll have the opportunity to raise that tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. And whatever I can do to support, chime in, I will as well.
I appreciate it. The members would appreciate that too.
Doctor, any other comments or?
No, I absolutely support it. I'm hopeful, but having seen the number of services that have been reduced in this community, thanks to Bassett Healthcare, I'm just hopeful that maybe this is different, because it's not like they're taking away medical services, they're taking away something that people are paying for, and without a clear rationale. And I really hope that you're successful and we can support you in any way possible.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, and it is really a contradiction, because you have a lot of these people who do have, some physical issues, and here they are doing what their doctor said, and then, Bassett has its mission, and then the contradiction is they want to take it all away. And it really has been like, they're trying to rationalize it, and there's really no way to rationalize it, because it's such a contradiction.
Well, our next meeting is first week of May.
Our next meeting?
Yeah, our committee.
Yeah.
Would it be worthwhile to ask to see someone from Bassett would come and talk with us before, because that'll be before the 31st.
So when is our next common council meeting beyond this one? I mean, beyond Tuesdays?
Every 2 weeks.
So what are we talking
April
about?
28th, 6th, something like that?
So we
No,
have 10,
April 20.
we have 10 and then 24. No, wait, only Tuesday, sorry.
We don't thought we had a meeting
Fourth,
tomorrow.
The 18th.
4th and 18th.
Okay.
So what I would suggest is just in the interest of May 31st is
It's
coming
right around the
very
corner.
quickly,
Yep.
is that we move this forward to council for the April, the second April meeting here. At which point we can certainly discuss that and see if the resolution would be adopted. And then if, you know, maybe that we should do is to invite the representatives from Foxcare to the May meeting, but I would hope that we might be able to, you know, begin to have some conversations even prior to that. I wouldn't want to wait till May to begin conversations, so that would be my thinking.
Sure.
Okay. All right, so then let's, I mean, are we in agreement that we're gonna move this forward then?
I agree with you, yes.
Okay, so good, so I will do that. Lee, if you wouldn't mind, I'm gonna put you in here as a spokesperson, but if you can, speak to the originator of the draft and just make sure that what I have is the final version, or if there's been an updated version, and then provide me with that, that'd be wonderful. Then I will forward that to get it on to.
Wait, the draft of your resolution?
The resolution that was just read.
It's great.
Okay, I mean, is that the final version? I think this came from some folks there, but.
Oh, well, whatever you read, I'm certainly.
Okay, then if folks are fine with that, I will move that forward
Yeah, I think you
to
can.
council.
I think you covered pretty much all the territory. The other thing is that, from what we understand, is that, I believe it's April 12th, the town is passing a resolution to and supporting the members.
Okay,
Great.
So, I mean, if the city comes through and the town comes through, that would be good leverage if Bassett is receptive.
That was April 12th?
Yes, that's what we were told. They're having a town meeting then.
sounds good. All right, and if you wanna, if you have updated numbers, prior to the April 18th meeting, then let me know those numbers and I will add those to the discussion.
Okay. As far as the population of the center,
No,
or?
as terms of the number
Of
of
the
petitions
petitions?
that have signed.
Oh, okay, definitely, I'll definitely keep you in touch.
Excellent, thanks, Lou. Good, any other questions or points? All right, then, let's move into, the next pieces, and basically, I think we can lump number 1 and 2 together B and C together, is the list of food insecurity groups as well as the May Food Insecurity Meeting, and really trying to talk and make sure we have that nailed down. We talked about a May meeting because April came quickly, and so I think tonight we really want to settle on a date. I think we need to make sure we've got all of our groups in line. You all have shared some ones, but I think we need to make sure we've got everybody, if we've missed anybody, as well as I think it would be appropriate to try to develop some questions right now, and what we want to do for a meeting. So let's start with the meeting date. And by the way, I'm assuming we're going to do this in the same format that we did the last meeting, which was virtual meeting. Does that work?
Works for me.
It seemed that we had pretty decent attendance there, considering that folks were able to, that so many of them were right at work and they were beaming in, so that might be the best thing to do.
Yep. In terms of my availability, are we thinking around the same time, around, was it 3:30 to 5 or 4 to 5:30? I can't remember what was the last time.
3:30 to 5 or 4 to 5:30, I think kind of in that range
Sure.
works. We're trying to catch the tail end of folks' work day.
Yeah. In terms of my availability, anything after that first week, I will make for the entirety of it. So anything after May 5th.
Okay. To be completely selfish, would it be possible to push this beyond May 20th, which means that my schedule frees up, because that's the graduation, and then I think I have a much easier schedule at that. So I mean, if we could try for the week of the 22nd, would that work?
Yeah, how about, we did it Thursday last time. Does Thursday work this time? The 25th it would be? I don't think.
Sure, I think my only hesitation there is that's Memorial Day weekend. I don't know if people would think about a very long weekend, but maybe if we pushed it more to Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever works.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, whatever works. Absolutely. I've got, where I'll be working is closed Monday and Tuesday, so either of those days work fine.
Any preference?
I should be around.
Okay, so let's shoot for, Just let's shoot for the Tuesday. That might be good then.
And so what date is that? May-
Tuesday, May 23rd.
So before Memorial Day, yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's a good idea.
So, but just not just before, right? So that we-
Right.
right.
Yes.
And we're thinking 4 to 5:30, or want to do 3:30 to 5?
Thoughts?
4, it might be easy to start with round number, so start at 4 and then 5:30.
4 to 5:30. All right. And so we'll have to, I'll work with you, Bonnie, and with Carrie to make sure we get a link for that particular day. All right, so then, I think I'd like to spend a little more time to kind of finalize our list of partners that we want to get there, some of the groups that deal with food insecurity, and then, if we can begin to develop the question, we'll still have the main meeting to be able to kind of, refine everything, but I think it would be good to do it tonight to try to think about some of that. So, partners, who do we want to have there? And Chief, feel free if you've got thoughts about your group as well to chime in on that as well. I think you've got some different folks in your organization there that.
With the solutions panel?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'd have to think about that.
Yeah,
I don't know if there's, clearly social services would be dealing with food insecurity. Yeah, I'd have to think about that. Who exactly would be on the panel? It would be, I don't wanna speak at a school here, but there's gonna be some changes for social services coming up, so, I'll have to think about it.
okay. If you have any names of who you think would be the appropriate people, if you want to forward them on to me, and if you have an address, email address too, that'd be great.
Yeah, we'll talk about it after the meeting, maybe shoot me an email.
Sounds good.
And we can conjure somebody up, I think.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I think you can look at the list of folks that were at the big meeting in August, and there were, I think, a handful of people there representing organizations that dealt with food
Yep.
security.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
yeah, that's actually probably a really good place to start,
Yeah.
because they're not specific to social services, but more to food pantries, et cetera.
I'm
Right.
happy,
Cynthia Walton Levitt might be a good one.
Oh, right, yeah.
Chief, who's she with?
She's, what's the Red Door Church on Main Street, First
The
United Presbyterian?
I think.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's the minister there, and she's also like the conduit to all of she's the coordinator for all the religious organizations in the area.
Oh, good. Yeah.
And does a lot of work with the food pantries.
Okay.
Yes. And I had mentioned to you involving SUNY. You ready to hear this? So I've been looking at some data for middle states now that I wear my other hat and I work at the college. So this was a survey, the American College Health Association survey from, it was published in 2020, but the data came pre-COVID. And it was 400 and some students representing 12.5% of the population at SUNY Oneonta, and many of them were off campus. And the percentage of student respondents that said they felt they either had low food security or very low food security was, well, if you combine them both, 23.3% male, 31.7% female said they had low food security, and very low food security was 16.5% male, 21.5% female. I would
Wow.
never have thought that,
Wow.
but it may be, you know, these kids that are here. I just thought that was interesting, because for me, I would not have thought our student population in the city, that would be an issue for them, but apparently it is. So having representatives from the college, I think will be good, because there's a food pantry up there, and they're really, I think, wanting to reach out and partner with the community more.
Those are alarming numbers.
Yeah.
So any food security, 39.8% male and 53.3% female.
What were the parameters for the,
Well, see, I don't know, it's from the U.S. Household Food Security Survey Module, 6 item short form, so.
I'd love to see what the form looked like, because is
Yeah.
it, you know, is it the stuff that they like to eat? Is it the availability of food, like, do they not get enough? I don't
Is it a
know.
valid, right, is it even a valid?
Yeah, so that would be
form?
like, that would be my question, like,
Yeah,
you know, is somebody not cooking for them? I mean, I just need to know more, that just
Yeah.
seems like there's some questions, see, that's alarmingly high.
Yeah.
That is.
I know SUNY Oneonta has a food pantry of sorts. It's more of a shelf than it is a pantry. But as I understand it, things move very quickly off of that, so I don't know what that indicates, but that's certainly the case. I think that's being expanded as well, right? Or
yeah, and
discussions.
one of Olivia's jobs, I think, is to work on that.
Okay.
Olivia Evans out of Tony's daughter?
Yeah, I'm really interested in that.
Yeah,
That's really, really high.
yeah.
Like I've,
Well, in May, we'll get the next study that is more in the last couple of years, see what that shows.
That'd be interesting. I wonder if it'd be in time for that meeting, 'cause that'd be
That'd be
really
good
helpful.
to present.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
So it seems that, I mean, if we're having that kind of high food security for one school, it seems to stand to reason that the other school would have food insecurity as well. Maybe we should reach out to somebody there. I don't know if anybody's directly in that capacity, but maybe someone in the student life area would be able to represent that.
Although Harvard has fewer off-campus students, don't they?
Hartwick has a handful. They require all of their students to be on campus, and, you know, that said, I think they do a fair job of making sure that they have food there. So I don't know that they're having issues, but being that they're all on campus, I would expect that they have better access.
Right,
Yeah,
that's a good point.
and it would be good to have someone from the school district to speak to, you know, what they do with, because they have summer programs, don't they, that they help with, and for kids that are on the free.
City of Oneonta,
Yeah.
especially
City
during
Oneonta.
the pandemic, they did.
Yeah, they did a lot,
I think they did breakfast and lunch for the entire summer.
yeah, so,
And they had like twice weekly pickups for food packages. But there was also a lot of schools around here that did that too, and they partnered with like, I think Chobani and a bunch of local dairies to make sure they had fresh milk. There were a lot of initiatives during COVID that they were running for food insecurity for kids.
Do you know who the point person on that was?
No.
I can reach out to Tom and see who that would be, because that'd be a good person to have there.
One person might, or not necessarily a person, but reaching out to the Community Relations and Human Rights Commission to see if their chair or a representative would like to come. I know Reverend Marty Swords-Morell on that, and she's well connected with the community, as are most of the commissioners.
Okay, good suggestion. All right, so I think it seems like, well, Chief, you'll let me know what your thinking is, and then that list from August, good call on that one. That should be able to produce quite a bit of contact folks, so I'll take a look at that.
Nicole Blanchard.
who's she?
Isn't she the one that does the Bassett? She did the study on food insecurity, I think, for the county.
Okay.
Right? Is that who that is? I think her name's come up in the panel before. She attended last year's meeting.
Oh, is she maybe that one, the one person I reached out to that was doing a lot with, yeah, okay, I can reach out.
Chief, what's her
to
name?
I think it's Nicole Blanchard.
Because I did have some communication with her, and then it just sort of fell to the,
Yeah, and she's working countywide on similar
Yeah.
initiatives to
they
food
have a big
insecurity countywide.
grant-based program up there that, yeah.
Yeah, so
I'll
it would
make
be good to
sure-
get involved in that.
Yes. Also, like the Office of the Aging, because it's the elderly too that are impacted.
Oh,
I
that's
think,
good,
with
very good.
security. Do they still have Meals on Wheels?
Yes,
And who does that?
don't know. I just know they exist. We get
Really?
calls from them to do welfare checks for people that like don't pick up their food and, yeah.
I didn't realize we even had that. Interesting.
It's not about it, 'cause my mom used to volunteer and do it, like, years ago.
So I guess, well, there's a couple things we can kind of hunt down, but as you're starting, if you, you know, if you can look for Nicole Blanchard and see if she's the right
Yeah,
person, let
okay.
me know. If you can let me know who I should get
Yeah,
from the Human Rights Commission.
absolutely.
Chief, you'll let me know your folks, and then we can kind of get that list together. I'd like to send them a kind of save the date announcement to let them know what we're doing. And then we can, as we did with the last one, I'll kind of put together a letter similar to the last one that we sent to the other group, and then we can send the kind of save the date, Zoom link coming, and then we can send that closer to the time of, and kind of go from there.
Sounds good.
So, what do we want to hit in that meeting? What questions do we want to ask? I feel like this is well, these are all big issues, let's call it what it is.
No, they are. You know, I know that study went out. We were just talking about it, but maybe asking all the partners. Some of them are going to be more obvious than the others. Maybe DDS and maybe OCSD, the schools and city districts, of what populations are being hit worse by this. If it's students, if it's adults, if it's seniors. I would suspect it's probably seniors and students, but if they're seeing patterns that we aren't, it might be good to check and make sure we're not missing something obvious.
Yeah, Nicole Blanchard's doing the Otsego County Community Greenhouse Initiative. That's one of the things that they're doing. Took me a minute to remember her name. Mark, I'm forwarding you an email that I got from her so you can kind of get an idea of who she is.
Excellent, thank you. So, one of the things, well, it occurred to me, kind of in our conversations with Mark Molinaro on Friday when he was here, and he talked about an effort that he was doing in terms of kind of community wellness down in what he did past tense when he was in Dutchess County. And he said, and it was funny because it reaffirmed for me kind of what some of the things that we were doing. He said one of the things that he thought was most important, their efforts to try to address community wellness, was just facilitating the conversations, you know, was that they get together. And I mean, Chief, your group does a great job kind of getting a lot of the same folks in the room to have those conversations. And I think this is one of those things is I think, you know, having the conversation is great, but if there's a way that we can get them to begin to think about continuing the conversation beyond our organizing, right? So is there interest in kind of having more of a formalized group come together? Because the point he made, and I think the point we've seen, is that some of these groups, they're aware of one another, but they don't have all the kind of relationships, they don't know what they're doing. There might be some common purpose that they can work on, especially in terms of grants and looking at grants. So I think I'd like to try to, with our questions, this is probably for the end, begin to say, all right, what's the next steps? Is there interest in this group coming together? Would there be some interest in someone or some group of people kind of holding this meeting and beginning to kind of move forward? Just try to keep facilitating that as we try to address all these things. It was one of the things I was hoping we'd get out of the August summit was some type of commitment to several small groups that might want to work together moving forward, but we didn't, we weren't able to kind of move it in that direction. So we probably need to talk about that in bigger summit as well. What do we do? Because everyone felt there was so much value in talking one another, but I don't think we got past talking to now how do we work together and how do we collaborate and what might that look like? Any other questions we want to get at? So patterns and trends with regard to food insecurity in terms of what these different organizations are seeing.
Maybe to help streamline the process, what resources do they find most helpful?
Mm-hmm.
If groups are missing them or have some that the other group members don't know about, maybe that could be a big boost to the efforts of the folks doing this.
I'm always interested in the challenges, and not the challenges of food insecurity itself. We know that, I mean, the challenges are pretty clear. What are the challenges that these organizations are facing? Usually funding is, of course, the big one, but what beyond that might be something that we could begin to address?
I think like a lot of places, there's a lack of volunteerism and the, staffing. People are, got a lot of committed time these days, and it's harder and harder to find people to volunteer and do these really important jobs of like making sure that people get the stuff that they need. So I've heard that come up several times. I think that's a big one.
So you say that, I begin to wonder immediately, like, all right, is that a problem of have people changed, right? Maybe that their desire to get back to the community has changed, or do we not just have, do they not know of this issue, of the opportunities? I mean.
It's a good question.
Yeah, I wanna hope that it's more of the latter, so that, they're just not aware, and then I think that there's a function that we could try to play to be able
It's
to make folks
probably a
aware.
combination of both,
Right,
Right.
and maybe by making people more aware, might they become more interested in doing it. But you're right, I've heard that in a number of different places as well, that, we know within the city in terms of.
Yeah,
trying to
volunteerism's down.
Yeah, which is interesting. So I wonder if there's some way to address that.
Well, again, in speaking about the college, it kind of works both ways. I mean, there may be student or student groups that are interested in giving back to the community in this way. So I think making those connections would be good too.
Yeah. So on that point, not only to have, Olivia here representing the kind of food insecurity, but maybe to see if we can have one of the volunteer people from the two
Right, yeah,
campuses.
I'll
That
reach
might
out
be
to
helpful.
them.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
I mean, they
Right, to
have-
say, here's an opportunity, right, so there's these issues, and there might be these opportunities for volunteerism using your student base. Just gonna try to pull up our questions from the last meeting, sorry. So last time we asked what existing programs are in place, what do you need to support your program, what programs have worked in the past, where should we put our focus, what obstacles exist for your organization, what opportunities exist, what are the less obvious issues that are impacting your organization, are there partnerships you'd like to pursue that would benefit your organization and its work with children and teens, how can the city support your organization? So I think we could probably even move some of those or
Yeah.
would work real well too. Okay. All right, so what I will do for next steps is, I'll organize these questions, I'll send them out to everyone, take a look, if you wanna add anything, edit anything, feel free. I will also in the same document, the same way I did last time, start pulling together, the organizations we have, and then contact people if you know things you wanna fill them in. And once we get that filled in with the email address and the contact people, I'll shoot out that save the date email, let them know what's going on, and then we'll follow up with a Zoom link closer to the start of that, closer to the time of that meeting. Does that sound like a plan? Now for the main meeting, certainly we can finalize this, but I have asked the community relations folks if they can come. I know they've been busy with their Trailblazer Awards and
Yes.
haven't been able to,
I can
that's been kind of their sole focus, that'd be great. And if we can then get them to, I'd like to have them kind of talk about, because it seems like we've got some overlap. It seems like we have overlap with, your community solutions panel, but we have overlap here. So it'd be nice to know kind of what they're working on and what they're doing, so we're not duplicating that effort. And then just also to have better communication with them as well. So we can plan that for our main meeting. Is there anything else? I feel like we just blasted through everything, but I don't feel like there's anything left here to be able to address. Is there anything else that, any concerns that anybody has, or?
No, I'm looking forward to our summit, or our meeting,
Yeah, we need to get a better word for these. They're not summits, but they're not, we called it stakeholder meeting last time. I don't know if that's, we can stay with that language, I guess. If you come up with something better, let me know.
So is our meeting Monday, May 1st, or May 8th?
I'm gonna turn to the boss.
I know they're written on the
Is it
calendar
over
over
there?
there.
Oh,
there's any other concerns or points or things, I guess we will adjourn this meeting. Again, we want to thank you, Lee, for, taking the time to come here and inform us about that. And,
Well, thank you for letting our voice be heard. We appreciate it.
happy to do so, and so we will take that resolution forward to council. I will discuss it officially because I report what happened in this meeting tomorrow night. I'll certainly report out what it is, and I'll tell them that a resolution is coming forward, and I will pass it along to the city administrator to put onto the agenda for the, I think we just said 18th, the meeting of the 18th, and then we can,
The 18th of April,
April, right? So then we can,
and that would be a possibility that they would pass a resolution at that time.
yeah, well, I mean, it's certainly a possibility. It's one of those things where, I can't speak for the entire council, of course, but it would need to have a majority of votes to be able to be adopted as a resolution that the council would support. But certainly, what I'd like to do is, I'll have to think about whether, I think if we could put it as discussion, I can discuss the resolution prior to a vote, and answer any questions as best as I can in terms of, why this originated, what the concerns are. I think that some of the data that you shared with me and talked about today is compelling, and that will then, kind of frame the entire kind of argument and why this is of interest to this Community Wellness Committee, that it is a wellness issue. And again, I think the argument for it being both a physical wellness as well as a mental wellness is something that needs to be understood. And then that this is a population that's being served here, the unique population that's being served here that wouldn't be served well in other institutions. So if we're talking about community wellness and we're talking about a community partner, if you will, in Bassett, I think it's really important that we stress to them that this is something that we think is valuable to this community and valuable especially to a particular population in this community. Then hopefully we will see what takes place in terms of the council's adopting or not the resolution, and we'll go from there. But I can certainly, you're certainly welcome to attend those meetings, so they're all public meetings, of course, but I can certainly communicate with you the results of that afterwards if you'd like to hear that.
Sure, well, thank you very much.
No, thanks, we appreciate bringing it forward. All right, well, with that,